Hello, hello! Today I would like to present to you my desk. This is a project I did myself from start to end, and I would like to show you what the whole process was, how it got made, what were the different steps involved, how much it cost, and what's going to go on forward as I'm transitioning towards a new project that should replace this desk at least partially. I got inspired by other YouTubers to do that kind of project, but had my own spin on it, so I'll show a little bit of that later in this video. And I would like to show all of the problems that it was designed to solve, all of the problems that it encountered, and how I attempted to address those. I was way over my head with this project. You will see a lot of things and wonder who on earth thought it was a good idea. Well, I did, but the project was really fun to do. I absolutely do not regret doing it, and I'd like to share it. And voila, without further ado, let me show it to you. Okay, here is my desk. It's always quite fun to show it. It's a bit difficult to show you everything at once though, simply because my back is against the wall and I cannot go back any further. So lots going on. Let me just change positions so you can see a bit more of everything at once. So many screens, quite a few computers. The computers are inside of the U-shaped desk that is used as a computer case. And the idea is that I have normally 4 computers, this one that's just missing just here for now. I've got 4 computers controlling all of the screens, plus a Raspberry Pi, then a corner, a NAS sitting just there discreetly. There is an Ethernet switch, power management, that's a power backup for the NAS. That's passive fire management system. Picture it as like a giant firecracker that goes off spreading fire retardant powder everywhere. You lose the content of the desk for sure, but you don't lose any more than that. Only in the case of a fire, obviously. Ethernet switch, and this here's a nifty little device which allows me through these buttons to only have one control interface, like one keyboard, one mouse, to control all of the 4 computers at once. Really convenient. The 3 bottom screens are my main computer. It's this one just here. It's the one that I'm going to be using for gaming, streaming, computer programming, video editing, and whatever 3D designs I need to do. The second computer is the one in the corner, and it used to be my previous main computer. It is currently running a Python bot that is scraping the in-game market values of a game called Starbase with the permission of the devs. So that's a whole story for another time. This computer just here in the corner has just this screen here. It is running Ubuntu, and I use it for Kubernetes and also at the moment for a Factorial server to which we can connect to. And normally I would have a 4th computer playing music in my room, but currently it is in my next project just there. It's the one in the middle. And what this one does is that through Ethernet, it's going to read music files from the Synology, and it's going to go out of the desk, up the leg, up to here, so I can control the music from both my bed and the desk, right back down where it meets a splitter that then sends it on these 2 sound systems, the second one being here. These are Harman Kardon Soundsticks 3, and sadly they are no longer being sold. They're quite good for their price. Wouldn't call them excellent by any means, but very handy. And voila, that's the general overview. As you can see, the Raspberry Pi needs a lot of love. I'm going to do that maybe after the video. So, a bit more on the fire extinguishing system. I've got this passive system just here, the the ball that goes bang. I really don't know how else to call it. I also have not one but two fire alarms in the room, and a fire extinguisher that is sitting just here, very easy to access. The reason is simple. I do a lot of DIY and it involves soldering. There's cables running a bit everywhere. It's mostly for my peace of mind. I did set both fire alarms at once simultaneously though, and yeah, would not recommend. The disc is equipped with foldable armrests, so I can tuck them neatly, I can move them. Normally the chair that I bought did have some initially, but I had well, discomfort because I like to sit with my legs crossed, so the simple solution was very simply to put the armrests on the desk. Simple as that. The desk is motorized, it can go up and down. I'm not going to show too much of that for the very simple reason that if I put it up too much, I would in fact damage the screens, so I have to move them out before I can do so. But it can go up more than enough to allow me to work standing up at my desk. The side of the desk comes equipped with a few extra connections. So normally you'd have this on the front panel of your computer. So there's a few USB 3s, there's one USB 3 just here that's a bit hard to see. Micro SD, SD and a few other connectors I never use, normal USBs, and it goes into the computer through the side just here, and then connects on the two main computers. The screens here are suspended through these systems. So this here is not one of my designs. This is something I took from Thingiverse, and I then edited it quite a few times. So twisted this one 45 degrees and created my own custom VESA mount to have them suspend from the bed frame. So you've got some VESA 100 and you've got some VESA 80 just here. And this in turn allows me to have all of these screens without anything expensive that would have needed to be screwed, clamped to the desk. It just makes everything easier. The downside is that I obviously cannot move the desk up and down too much without webcams or the top of the screens knocking into the ones on top. So it does come with a compromise. And that there is very simply for insects. It's an electric blue light. Very convenient. And yeah, that is how I have all of my screens suspended. The last feature I would like to show also introduces most of the problems that I've had with this desk. So this is a 3D printed mount for USB powered fans. So they allow the air to come in from one side, go all the way around and out on the other just here. The fans themselves are fairly straightforward and quite satisfying. I can pop the whole cover in and out, which then allows me to access the computers behind. All of the fans can be individually controlled. Right now they kind of are sitting on max power, and the USB hub is there. That one was a bit of a bad buy, as if for any reason there is a power outage, the USB hub will need to be turned back on. Super annoying, but not annoying enough that I'd want to buy a new one. And this also introduces the main, should I call it, reason for me wanting to upgrade to a new system. As you can see, there is very thin dust everywhere. So I've got two different sizes of dust. I used to have filters on the fans, and they would filter out like hairs and whatnot, and it would work quite fun. But this here is very thin dust. We're talking 0.1 millimeter or so. It's like it's this very incredibly thin stuff that goes through the filters that I was able to put on the fans. and it clogs everything, and it's a massive pain. It requires me to take everything apart, or at least partially, and either blow or vacuum the dust out of the desk. It's messy, it's noisy, and it's really annoying to do. And it's made all the more harder by the fact that everything is really difficult to access. So the fans introduce then the next issue that this desk has, is that I badly underestimated just how many cables would be passing all over, going in the desk, out of the desk, and as you can see, this is really messy. I've got two openings underneath the desk. It's a little bit hard to show because there isn't much light down here, but I've got this one opening here and one opening over there. I've got cable baskets, and even then you get these absolute massive mess. And mind you, this mess is with me doing my best to make it look the least messy as I can get away with. And what happened is, I mean, there's probably optimizations to be done, but every screen wants its own HDMI cable. At some point I had multiple computers controlling, crisscrossing multiple screens. I had to cancel that. The motherboards want power, they want a USB, they want Ethernet. There's just a lot going on, and it's just increases the amount of surface dust can get caught on. On the right side there's a bit less of a mess because right now there's only one computer, so, and it's not as it doesn't have as many connections, so it's not as much of a problem as it is here. And that is a problem that I want to address on this next project. I've got quite a few ideas to make it more bearable. And voila! Before I show you how I made the desk, I need to show you why I made the desk. Now hear me out, it's even worse than what it looks like. What you're looking at is the accumulation of what I estimate to be in between 3 and 5 years worth of accumulated mess. So what you're looking at is an initial desk, a second desk that got added to it, a third desk. The two first desks became the atelier, the third desk got used for the computer, and if it wasn't bad enough, it gets way worse. The screen was suspended thanks to metallic wire. What you're looking at here is the air evacuation and filter system for the soldering. The cat was fed on the atelier. If it wasn't messy enough, here's some notes that were just adding to the clutter. Tools were suspended from the bed in order to allow me to have access to them directly. On the top you can see there's this little Raspberry. I don't even remember what I was using it for. A mess. Too much. It was a lot of fun to showcase the room, but it needed to go. And I think this picture was taken within a week of starting the work on the new desk. I think those here are pieces of the new desk as I was getting ready for the assembly. Thankfully, my sibling happened to not be at home for a very extended period of time, and I was able to buffer all of my stuff into his room, giving me space to then allow to build the desk. I built the atelier separately, I think within the same time period, but I don't have many pictures of it and I won't be addressing it here in this video. But two different projects. And voila! Now I can show you how I made the desk step by step. This is very roughly how the process of designing and building the desk went. First, there was a little bit of 3D modelization, very rough, using Tinkercad to at least have a grasp of what I could place where and know how it would be possible or not to assemble it. and I then bought the wood and had to cut it myself. Because it was during COVID, ideally I would have had the shop cut the wood for me, as I'm, well, not a good woodworker at all, but ended up having to cut it myself due to the shops being on low capacity. This meant that the woods were slightly crooked, slightly warped on the cut lines, and had to be quite forceful when I glued and assembled everything. So the wood that is bought is oak, and I varnished it I think 2 or 3 times before being satisfied, just adding extra layers. I then assembled and built the desk inside of my room step by step, starting with the U-shaped that I installed on the mechanical feet for the desk. And you can see in the pictures, I'm trying to see what can fit where, how would it work, trying to see if I had everything done correctly, step by step in the process, and finally had everything done under the supervision of my personal inspector that I like to call Cat. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have any video footage of all of the assembly, but I do have quite a few pictures, as you can see here. This desk was by no means cheap. If you look at the video of Linus Tech Tips, I think I recall him saying that it would in fact have been a good idea to get a second-hand glass table, something really cheap off the internet, and you use that as a basis for your desk. I didn't go down that road.
So, with some careful measurements, you can easily adapt our design to whatever glass top you can find secondhand. This is a big key for this project because thick, tempered glass that's designed to sit without being fully supported, the kind that you should use for safety, is not cheap.
I bought the mechanical legs that were roughly in between 250 euros and maybe 150 euros at the lowest. The wood was an extra 150 euros, and the glass, all of it combined, was roughly 300 euros if I remember. Everything was bought quite a long time ago, and I no longer have access to the exact bank statements. But it was expensive, the biggest cost being the glass. So if you want to have a cool desk but save on money, I would recommend the glass from an already existing desk. That is by far where you're going to be saving the most. If you don't have it move up and down with mechanical legs, you'll be saving even more money. And as wood, I wanted oak for its, well, rigidity, thermal capacities, although I'm not using those at all, and just because it looked nice. Simple as that. I wouldn't recommend using too soft of woods, as they would eventually get damaged faster than oak would, but oak was quite assembled, even though it's the assembled kind. And voila, thanks a lot for watching the video. This is like this cool project I wanted to show before I move on to the next project and have to decide what to do with my desk. Thanks for watching, bye bye.